Hello guys, you already know what time it is. Young in Love time.
Young in Love.
Happy new month of February. It's the month of love, and if you can hear me, it means you made it. Congratulations. This is another episode of Young in Love, and you know what we talked about last time? Is it right to demand marriage because you trained a lady? If you haven't listened to that episode, you need to listen to it. This is episode 6, guys, and we're going to be talking about farts and other mannerisms. With me on today's episode, I have a special somebody. Let's give it up for my mama. She's on the podcast with me today, and she is Mrs. Mercy Villawa. Mommy, say hi.
Hello, everyone.
Hi, someone. She's a nurse with a master's degree in counseling psychology. So, guys, I'll urge you to listen keenly to all she has to say. With me again, I have a very gentleman, and he is Mr. Ekuribe Okechukwu. Say hi.
Hello.
Okay, now we're going to start. Like I said, we're talking about farts and other mannerisms, and I would want us to list, besides farts, I would like us to list some of those mannerisms that have the tendency to annoy people. And mind you, we are discussing farts and other mannerisms in the context of a love relationship. Mr. Okechukwu, please tell us some of those things that people do, mannerisms that you find really annoying.
Honestly, there are so many, but let me mention but a few. Poking your nose, biting your nails, and so many of them, there can be disgusting, some kind of sound, somebody will just make a sound,
in public, or like just that. With your partner?
In public actually. And they will just poke their nose, some will just touch somewhere and start smelling on their nose and all that.
Yeah. I remember seeing some videos of some coaches, like football coaches. They scratch their butts and then smell it.
Exactly.
And these guys are caught on camera.
Exactly.
I think that's offensive.
Very.
Mama, what's up? You want to tell us some things you find annoying?
Well, there are really so many, like Mr. OK have just mentioned. You have this twirling of the hair. You see some ladies, they just come around trying to twist around their hair. I have actually seen somebody very close. Each time she does that, she will pull a strain of her hair, put it in the mouth, and begin to chew. Yes, of course.
In the mouth?
Yeah.
Wow.
And begins to chew on it. And at a time she puts that off, she goes back to her hair, twirl her hair again, and the strands go in just like that. You also have this pimple popping. There are people that have pimple on their faces like that. It's not right. What you see them do is that they just go right there and begin to pull on it, drag on it. And of course, when you do that, you give yourself some kind of problem. Some people snore. You can't stay with them at night. They snore heavily and all that. And there are a lot of them. You have scalp scratching. Let me be honest here. When you talk about mannerism, it's common amongst women than the men.
Really?
Yes, like this scalp scratching. You see them scratching on the hair. Nothing there.
Maybe because we make our hair and the guys don't.
Well, of course, maybe if you want to look at it from that angle, some men does, but it's more amongst the women folk.
Okay. Thank you very much. Now we're going to talk about farts. In all honesty, I think English language messed my childhood up because as a child, I knew this thing as polluting. Did you pollute? No, I did not pollute. You polluted, And then growing up, they taught us it was farts and not pollute. So, guys, if I say pollute, you need to understand I mean farts. So, Mommy, I want you to tell us something about farts. Do you think that farts in a relationship can help the partners to bond? Or do you think it's disrespectful in a relationship?
I will look at it from both sides. Because depending on the background where you're coming from, there are some individuals that actually see that as very, very disrespectful.
Mr. Okay, do you agree? Are you one of such?
Honestly, I don't agree on that.
Okay.
And some people also see it as a way of life, as fun. Honestly, I have a personal experience with that.
Wow. Share it with us, please.
Yeah, you are here. Your dad.
My dad.
Husband. When I married that initial time, though it didn't just start almost immediately. But after a while, I just discovered that I can't keep this anymore. For how long can I continue to run away each time I feel pressed in this
Okay,
manner?
so just hold on. So you mean when you got married to my father, he did not like polluting. He did not like farting.
At all.
So you knew that. And each time you needed to fart, you had to leave.
I had to leave.
Wow.
And of course, he was also doing same, unknown to me, that each time that comes up, he will walk away. But there just come a time in the marriage I just had to let go. And of course, it was not funny. He reacted so terribly. Do you know that after a while, honestly speaking, it became fun. He had to start accepting the whole thing.
The fat thing.
Yes, it was not easy, but somehow it became fun. At a point, I couldn't even compete with him anymore.
Oh my goodness.
Yes, I couldn't compete. I thought I was very, very good at that, but I discovered that
Daddy was stronger.
It was just pretense at that beginning. That's the way I looked at the whole thing.
Okay, do you want to tell us something about the okra saga? Because there's been some stories you said about my father's tummy rumbling, and when it will rumble, you would ask him what the problem is, and he would say it's the okra soup he ate.
I think that was actually the genesis.
Okay.
Each time we are together, he would tell me that the okra soup I gave him to eat, he's just rumbling his tummy and all that. I say that every time, so I had to watch out to really see if he's always
okra soup.
When he had the okra soup, that's when that happened. But funny enough, it wasn't. So I now told him, don't you think that is this gas you trap in?
The fat.
Yes, the fat thing that is making you experience this.
Tummy rumbling.
Yes, I think that was how he actually started.
Okay.
Releasing,
Okay,
not
so
keeping it.
he was lying. He was blaming innocent okra soup.
Exactly.
Guys, to all the lovers of
Exactly.
okra soup, I sincerely apologize to you on my father's behalf. Okra soup did nothing to him, so he was blaming it.
He was, but after a while, we just discovered it was not really the soup. Is because
He was holding it
he
in.
was holding back this gas when you are supposed to let
release
go.
it. Okay,
Exactly.
thank you so much. Mr. Okay, do you think it's disrespectful for people in a relationship to fart? In the presence of each other?
Honestly, I don't see it as being disrespectful.
Okay.
On a good day, how you started in your relationship matters.
Okay.
Pretense is not good. And I see that as pretense. The only thing that can make someone feel offended about farting might be because of the smell.
Okay.
So sometimes, you'll be like, what is this? And all that. So sometimes that's the only thing that can get someone irritated. Two of my uncles normally use farting as a competition. They will just lie down and put their back up on the fan and gather air, and this one will release and this one will release. We'll be clapping for them. And
was there a reward though?
We'll ask him whether it's penning him. He said no, it's not penning him. That kind of stuff. So it was like a fun.
Yeah.
So it depends on the environment you find yourself.
Okay.
For those that see it as disrespectful, maybe the person will continue to pretend. However, it's always good for us to also be clean in and out, so that our farting will not be very smelly that everybody will run out of the house.
Okay, I think there was a research, and Mommy, I don't know if you want to help us out with that. There's a research about hydrogen sulfide, that element that gives fat its smelly quality.
That repulsive smell.
Okay, so what do you have to say about that?
Hydrogen sulfide is a chemical that assists in that repulsive smell. And some of the researches I went through, I discovered that even that smell, we are told that it helps.
It reduces the risk.
It reduces the risk of stroke,
Wow.
heart attacks, and even can also take care of diabetics.
What?
And all, yes. And I want to honestly say that the New York Post
Okay, New York
of
Post.
August 2017 did made a research on that, and they were trying to explain that the repulsive smell that you get from farting can actually help people that suffers from cardiovascular diseases like
Wow.
in stroke. Yes, that's what it
Unbelievable.
said. And to be specific, Mike Skates Hakala is the one that actually
Conducted the research.
conduct this research.
Okay. I don't know if that's good news to us. Like, so now the fat, as in, it's bad enough that people have to fat, and now we're being told by the New York Post that element, in the fat that makes it repulsive is healthy. It reduces. I don't know if I can. I'm not accepting the research, guys. I'm just not accepting it because I invest in air fresheners. So I spray the air. I don't see how it's going to help me in any way. Anyways, I have a list here myself. And first on the list is farts, which we have already talked about. And then sneezing. I think sneezing is something I'm a culprit, because when you sneeze, it's natural, but then people do it in all kinds of way. Personally, I know my mom and my sister, they think I'm about dying whenever I sneeze because I scream at the end. And I know it's something that can be changed, but I just find myself screaming at the end of it. I don't know what it's called. Is it throat dragging or whatever it is? People just whack with their throats, And then you have those people who brush their teeth like they're on the battlefield. Quack, 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 quack. And you're wondering, is this person fighting World War III? I think it's something that can be worked on. You don't need to, give everybody notice that you're brushing. You can be calm about it. Mr. Okay, I want you to tell me something. How do you press your toothpaste from the tube? Do you press from the bottom? Do you press from the middle?
Honestly, I don't give attention to that.
You don't care?
I don't care.
Okay, what about your wife? Does she?
I don't really pay much attention on that.
Okay, so that's not an issue to you
at all.
But to some people, when they're giving marriage counseling and marriage advice, they're like, little things like that can cause rift between partners. It's a good thing you don't mind, because personally, I don't care about that either. Mommy, does that bother you?
It doesn't, but sometimes I just see myself trying to make it even. When I see it not, I just go to the bottom and try to
press it up
again.
Okay.
I see myself sometimes doing that.
All right. So from all of these things, I think with respect to farting, it has a lot to do with your background. I have a friend, she's a medical doctor, and I was surprised when she said she finds it very disrespectful. And she expects that the man she's in a relationship with, or the man she gets married to, should, as a matter of fact, excuse himself when he needs to fart, and that she would do same. So in her house, where she grew up, it was a big deal to just fart in the presence of anybody. So she has grown up with that mindset, with that mentality that you can't fart in the presence of anybody. She said farts should be treated the same way you treat poop. If you can't poop in the presence of someone, like just publicly, then don't fart in the presence of anybody. Mr. Okay, do you have any other mannerism you like to talk about?
Yeah, biting your fingers and poking your nose. Actually, that one is very, very, very annoying.
Yeah.
On a personal note, a sister bounced a guy that wanted to marry her because he's always poking his nose.
You mean your sister bounced a man for picking his nose?
The person is even a medical doctor.
Yeah.
So my mom was like, what is your problem? It was like, Mom, the guy is always putting his hand in his nose.
Wow.
And my mom was just seeing it as you are crazy, But honestly, it puts her off.
I would quickly like to add that picking and poking of the nose has a very dangerous health effect. And one of them is nose bleeding. Another one is you can easily contract infections through nose picking, because you poke, you pick, and at the end of the day, the hands gets back into your mouth. It's the quickest and fastest means of spreading diseases. You can have sores if care is not really taken. The nasal cavity can also be damaged. The spectrum can be broken because of all this. So we need to be very
You need to pipe flow on those things.
And be well guided.
All right.
So that is just it. In life, something that is okay by you, and that's why when they say compatibility, there are so many things that has to be compatible before things can work out. Otherwise, such thing can break a marriage.
Yeah, for me, I think I'm not going to deal with that. If I bring it up to your attention, I'm like, guy, what's your hand always doing in your nose, and you can't stop it, then.
Not even putting it and bringing it out. Sometimes they bring it out and start smelling it again.
Ew, nah. I think your sister made the right decision.
Honestly.
And that reminds me of one of my friends. He said he was trying to talk to this girl and he really liked her. So when the girl said, I don't like guys who bite their nails, I hope you don't. Fact is, my friend actually bites his nails. But when that girl said it, he decided,
conscious about
he became conscious about, he decided that he would stop from that day because this girl, I want her, and then she doesn't like the fact that I bite my nails or anyone at all bites their nails. So he worked on it, and today I can say he conquered that mannerism. So I think that's a good thing. Mommy, do you have any word of advice for those people who find it disrespectful? I mean, farting in a relationship.
Well, it depends on the couple or those in the relationship. One thing I want them to know is it can create fun depending on how you look at it. From research too, it's been proven that those who are able to practice this in their relationship end up increasing that bond between them. It creates bond, and it also shows others that are close by, because it will go a long way to show the closeness because of that alliance such between the both of them.
Okay, so in essence, when you fart in the presence of your partner, it shows that you're comfortable around them.
Exactly.
All right, so Mr. Okay, do you have any advice for those people who think it's fun or for those people who think it's disrespectful?
Honestly, if you see that the next person does not like it, you try to stop. But if it's something that you cannot control, the other person should also learn to accept. Accommodate, because marriage is a lifetime thing. So it's not, how long will you keep on pretending or trying to hide from some certain things? So it's a two-way thing. If the person cannot stop, the other person should be able to accommodate it. Over a period of time, it will not be a problem.
Okay.
I want to also add that the disadvantage of holding back this fat or gas is so enormous. Okay. Because it can cause bloating. It can cause discomfort, abdominal discomfort. It can even cause other digestive problems.
All right.
If you keep holding back this fat and you don't release it at a time you are supposed to do that.
Okay.
So I will encourage everyone, anytime
fat, pollute.
Just do it.
When you want to pollute,
do it and get yourself free.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much, guys, for being on this episode. I'm just going to wrap up now by saying that I'm encouraging people to be more aware of their environment when doing these things. The things that you get away with at home, you might not necessarily get away with them in public. So make sure that you're aware of where you are. So if farting at home is fun, go on and have fun, pollute all you want, brush like you're in the war zone, battlefield all you want. But when you're out there, when you're camping, when you're in a meeting, when you're out of your comfort zone, try to take others into consideration. And then when choosing a partner, I think it's best if you guys are on the same page on some of these things. Because I was with this guy and I wasn't dating him, we're just prospecting. Guess what? I was going to ease myself. We were talking over the phone and I told him I was going to ease myself. He was like, oh, let me call you back. I said, no, don't call me back. It's fine. I can handle it. So I go to the toilet and I pee and then I flush. He was upset at hearing the sound of the toilet flush over the phone. He was very upset and he was like, oh, can you see why I told you I will call you back? I hate hearing the sound of the toilet flush. I was going to call you back. Now you've allowed me hear that sound. What is this? I was shook, because I didn't think that was enough reason to get him upset. But that's his reality, It gets him upset. So I think you need to make sure that your partner is on the same page with you. Now, guys, if you have an outrightly dirty mannerism, please, just change. My brother, my sister, change. Stop looking for who will deal with you and your offensive mannerism. Please change. I don't think anybody will be happy to deal with that baggage you're carrying. Don't sneeze or cough into people's faces. When you feel the urge to do all of those things, please cover your mouth, especially in this age now where we have all sorts of diseases, flying around, Lassa fever, this, coronavirus, that, and all those things. Please be considerate and stop indiscriminate spitting. Some people spit like they are pregnant. Every 5 minutes they are spitting. And there's the one some people do. They shoot it through the middle of their teeth. It comes out straight like pure water.
Like snake.
I don't know how guys do that, but please stop indiscriminate spitting. It is very, very disgusting. And I think nail biting, you need to stop that as well. We have nail cutters. You can use blade. Just stop using your teeth to bite your nails. It makes your fingernails untidy. And please, I think I want to encourage people, feel free to talk about the mannerisms you don't like, because you might just be the reason that someone changes. Like my friend, he was trying to talk to this girl and she said, I don't like this. Until today, he stopped biting his nails. So feel free to talk about those things you don't like. Do not pick your nose. Please stop picking. That is dirty. Don't look for anybody to live with you that way. Stop. Please. If you are guilty, uncle, auntie, repent. Stop picking your nose. And then those people who now pick and either start chewing it or pick and smell or please, just stop already, okay? And again, I forgot, those people who pick their nose and now rub it on the wall or rub it somewhere. Don't do that. Ew, no, don't do it, please. And then for want of a better word, I'm going to say stop dragging your throat. That thing people do whack with their throats. I don't know. I might be guilty, I don't know, but I think it's not good. Stop. And then I think you know the rest. You can feel it in. As I always say, please communicate with your partner. If any of these things bother you, have a conversation about it. Adulting is majorly about having tough and difficult conversations. So when you want to have this conversation, don't attack your partner. Be sensitive, be polite, be calm. Don't be rude about it. Have a conversation. So we have officially come to the end of today's episode of Young in Love on fat and other mannerisms. I know you guys have a lot of comments, so I would encourage you to head over to our social media handle on Instagram. You can find us at YoungInLove_podcast, and we're also on Facebook, Young in Love Podcast with Keziah. I'm Keziah Vilawa, and you can also follow me on my social media page on Instagram at Keziah_Vilawa. Now, I'd like for you to not just listen to this podcast, but subscribe to it and share with your friends. You can find this podcast on Apple Podcast, on Google Podcast, on Spotify, on Radio Public, on Overcast, on Pocket Cast, on Breaker, and on Anchor. So please do well to subscribe and share with your friends. Now, I'm a volunteer with Slum to School Africa, and as part of our global campaign for education, I invite you to join me to raise funds for 3,000 out-of-school kids. You can do this by visiting the website www.slumtoschool.org/donate. I repeat that, www.slumtoschool.org/donate, and participating in one of our fun activities. In the month of February, we are going to go swimming, cycling, kayaking. We're going to be controlling traffic in Port Harcourt. We're going to bake, and all of these activities are geared towards raising funds for 3,000 out-of-school kids to go back to school. Thank you guys for listening to this episode. Until when next we meet, bye and be good.
Young in Love.